Hello everyone. Now I want to do a video talking about how long recovery actually takes. Now when I do this video, what I'm talking about is there is no time frames, there is no deadlines to the OCD journey. That is the problem that most people make. I made it. Most people I speak to make it because they say, Sam, I've been in 6 months now, why aren't I recovered? Okay. Would you expect to speak fluent Spanish within 6 months? No, you would not. And we've got to view the recovery journey like that. That does not mean you wouldn't expect to make progress. Of course, that's a healthy expectation. That's a healthy, realistic desire. When you look back where you were in a year's time or 2 years' time, you would hope you've made progress. But we can't just cling on to that, I need to be recovered now. The more we chase that recovered feeling, or the more we chase recovery, the further away it gets. So I've just had a beef stew with dumplings. It was absolutely amazing. I thought I'd just tell you that for some random reason, but it was really, really good. So there is no time frame at all. Now, if I talk realistically about my journey, now I first came to Rob in July 2019, and that doesn't mean that's when I started suffering with OCD. No, OCD was obviously very prominent in my life a long time before then, but I only started looking at beliefs in 2019 when I first came across OCD recovery. Now, we speak to people who are 80, 70, 60, in their older years. The point is you could be stuck for OCD, you could have OCD for 80 years, but you could be 1 week into looking into beliefs. So we can't just judge it on how long we suffered with OCD, because that don't do that. You can't judge it on when you just started beliefs, because if I say, well, I've been working on beliefs now for 2 weeks, why not any better? Well, no, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. But the point is, if you've been told thoughts are thoughts, do this exposure, roll of uncertainty, get your life structure back, all important parts, but it's often the missing component, the missing piece to OCD recovery is the unconditional acceptance, the disputing irrational beliefs, see where we're going wrong with our catastrophized thinking, our black and white rigid demands, our musts. Those are the kind of things holding us back. Now, even let's look at 6 months' time, okay? Now, realistically, you can't expect to make much progress within 6 months. Now, of course, beliefs can change. Of course, perspectives, you want them to change in 6 months. But when I say change, it's not going to be a drastic change. There might be a subtle difference, but 6 months is very short time frame in the grand scheme of things. Because, like I said, the analogy, would you expect to learn a fluent language within 6 months? Well, of course you wouldn't, because you'd be learning words, but you wouldn't know it fluently. You wouldn't be able to just think a different language like that. Well, you might make a lot of progress if you're very good at learning languages, but you wouldn't be able to speak it fluently. I'm talking about most people wouldn't be able to speak fluent language in 6 months. Now, we have to view it as similar to that. Because when I set a deadline on my recovery, because I remember I wanted to be recovered within 6 months by Christmas. So I came in July and I wanted it to be gone within 5 months, Christmas, right? Because I was like, I've had enough. I'm fed up with this now. I'm fed up with going from trigger to trigger, setback to setback. I want it gone by the time Christmas comes around. Now, how did that go, Sam? Not very well, because I tried to force it. I remember disputing very sort of compulsively all the time, because yes, I felt like I was changing beliefs, but I wasn't feeling any different. And that's the difference, because I don't ask, how are you feeling, right? Because, especially in the early calls, because I know you're going to say, I'm still feeling crap, I'm still feeling stuck, right? Because I fully get that, I've lived that. The main thing I'm looking at is, how are your beliefs looking? How are your behaviours looking? How are your perspectives looking? How is your life structure looking? Because if I just focus solely on how you feel, then we'd just be going after the short-term relief. I could make someone feel better on a call by giving a shit ton of reassurance. I could just say, it's just OCD, you're not your thoughts, you're the last person to do that, blah, blah, blah. I could say that, and they'd feel better for 2 minutes or for the rest of the day, and the next day OCD would latch to something else. Okay, so when I'm talking to you, I'm always looking 3 months, 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years. I'm looking at that far in advance, because my job is to get you better, to keep you better, and you stay better. So for long-term recovery. Of course, getting better long term is going to mean feeling better. That's the overall goal. Of course it is. But if I just focus on feeling better now, then that isn't going to work because that's all just short term reliefs. That's why we avoid. That's why we do compulsions. That's why we seek reassurance. That's why we confess, because you're looking for that short term relief. Those behaviors need to stop. Those beliefs need to change for the aim of long term recovery, long term robust recovery. Now, anyone saying that OCD recovery is like a 5-day crash course is completely wrong and is incorrect, because it's not. You can't force recovery. You can't force acceptance. You can't change beliefs in a space of a day, in a week, in a month, in 6 months. You can make it. You can make a big dent in that. Of course you can within 6 months, but you can't change it. And no one that I've known has been recovered within 6 months. Not from chronic severe OCD. No way. Maybe mild with the thoughts to thoughts exposures, maybe, but chronic severe OCD, no. I haven't. I've yet to meet someone who's recovered that quickly. Now, even on my own journey, I think I'd say at least. So I'd say 2019 I first came in, so I'd say 2022. I haven't put time frames on this. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm not like sat going, right, I got to January and I got to April. No, it just happens. It happens over time. I changed beliefs, changed perspectives, and here I am recovered. But I didn't just chase that recovered feeling. Now I'd say I'd started getting long-lasting freedom, long-lasting relief, sort of the sustaining it, not just going from setback to setback, not just having good days, bad days, up, down, good days. No, it was an upward trajectory, but you're not getting triggered as much, or maybe not getting triggered at all, or not having just setback after setback. And I can't remember I can't remember my last setback. Now, if I go back to 2022, which was obviously 2 years ago now, well, I was doing really, really well. I was in a really good place. But then all of a sudden, the setbacks would come here and there because I had to brush up on the tools, brush up on the irrational beliefs, and see what was going wrong. Now, I'm not just going from, oh shit, am I going to feel tomorrow? Oh shit, am I going to feel today? No, because it becomes sort of a natural way of thinking, and your unconditional acceptance. I'm not doing any compulsions. I'm not venting. I'm not complaining. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm always out of my comfort zone. Make sure I leave my comfort zone a lot. And just, I'm around OCD every day. So nothing you're going to say is going to be like, that's triggered me. No, because the unconditional acceptance there, the internal framework has been built to be robust and deal with any life situation. And this is why I'm very beneficial and very grateful from the OCD journey, because what you learn is the fact that it's not that the tools that you learn isn't just to get over POCD, isn't just to get over harm OCD, isn't just to get over existential contamination, sensory motor. No, it's to deal with any adversity, any life problem, any life issue. Because just because I'm recovered, it's not mean I'm hassle free. Now, I'm not doing handstands down the street, even though that'd be hilarious if I was, but because I can't do handstands. I've tried, but I can't do them. So although that'd be hilarious, that's not the case. I still get frustrated at things. I still get annoyed. I'm human. I still get sad at things. If I watch a very sad film, I'm not just sat there like this. No, it's not. I'm human. I'm not an emotionless robot. This is the often confusion. This is often misconception. If you saw me at a football match, I'm very involved. I'm very invested in it. I'm emotionally invested in it because it's a huge passion of mine to watch football. Of course, I want my team to win. I've got a very strong, healthy desire for my team to win. So I'm going to support and I'm going to cheer and I'm going to encourage. But if we lose, I'm not in the pits of depression, rolling around crying on the floor. No way. You're in touch with the emotions. But the point is that there is no time frame. And the scary thing is, I say scary because this is scary when I tell people this, because I can tell they go, but I say, do you know you could be stuck with OCD forever? Now, I don't say that to scare you. I say it to be fiercely realistic, because realism, being aware of how OCD can be very resilient. I mean, just because you're in for 5 sessions with me, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed recovery. This is the thing. There's accountability is a huge part. There's taking it away, the application of the advice, applying the tools, taking the advice on board, and actually making that change. Because you can't just sit on a call, listen to everything we say, and go, yeah, cheers, Sam, recovered. No, it's not how it works. Because although you're getting very good insight and you're getting talking from experience, personal experience, my own struggle with OCD, it's going to be helpful in that regard. But you can't just say, oh, cheers, Sam, I'm going back to doing compulsions. Because I can only tell you, and I can only guide you, and I can only direct you in the right direction. But it's down to you to apply that, put in the work, and let yourself feel anything. I had to let myself film anything at times. Like, it's frustrating, of course it is. It's incredibly frustrating when you're doing so well and then you suddenly have a setback and it feels like everything you've learned is out the window. It feels like you're never ever going to get there. It feels like you're going to be stuck forever. My worst setbacks were when I was doing really well. It wasn't just when I started on the journey feeling triggered all the time, no, because that was just I was used to that state. Although it was a very difficult state, I was used to feeling chronically guilty all the time. I was used to having setback after setback. I'm sorry, I was used to feeling triggered. I was just used to feeling crap. It was just a 24/7 state. But when I was doing well, sort of 1 year, 2 years into the journey, and I had that glimpse of, yes, freedom, yes, I don't have OCD anymore, yes. And all of a sudden, slap. Have some of that, Sam. And usually it was a new theme. Usually it was a new event. Usually it was a new false memory. Intrusive thoughts, really unwanted times during times of intimacy. Really unwanted times. OCD would just go up a notch. It would really turn it up and go, right, how can I keep Sam locked in? And that's how it felt. And it feels like it's all against you. It feels like the world's against you. Because it's easy just to play the victim and blame. Whose fault's that? Your fault, OCD. Or it's my parents' fault. It's my friend's fault. It's easy to blame. It's easy to sit down and blame everything. But we've got to be accountable. We've got to realize that I have OCD. That this is a hand that you've been dealt, because we can easily play the victim. We can easily say, why me, why me, why me, my we? Why me? Now, I did that a lot. I did that a lot because it took me ages just to accept that OCD, to be fair, because I kept comparing myself to people without OCD and go, why can't I have their life? I just want a life, hassle-free life, even though that doesn't exist. But obviously OCD suffering is just the extra level. It's that, everything just feels like very, very difficult. As we know, you don't need me to persuade you of that. But I just wanted a life free of OCD, which obviously wasn't going to work. Complete waste of my time, because instead I started doing it as, what can I learn from this journey? What can I still be grateful for? And what can I get from this? How can I benefit myself? Now, I say this a lot, but I look back on my journey now and I'm incredibly grateful for the suffering. Suffering was bad. I'm not saying the suffering was good. My worst days, horrendous suffering, life debilitating suffering, but what did I learn from that? What tools did I learn? How does that leave me better equipped and in better stead to deal with anything, any life problem? Obviously my job is around OCD all the time, but I also got a life as well. So, I have life, I have hassles, I have problems going on, I have things cropping up all the time that I have to deal with as human life goes. You're not in this wrapped up in cotton wool, nothing going wrong. No, of course, because when you're living life, obviously, you've got financial issues. You got obviously, because if you live in life, you're obviously spending more money, so you've got that regard. You've got sort of maybe you're sort of pushing yourself exercise wise. You've got that. You maybe get an injury, or maybe if you're traveling more, you've got that. You've got problems around, how do I get here if my car breaks down, or if the train turns up late, if I miss my plane. And I'm just reading off random examples here, but the point is that you're not hassle free. The aim isn't just to become an emotionless robot, hassle free. No, good luck chasing that, but that's just not existing, because there'll always be problems in life. There will be. Now, of course, when you're suffering with OCD, it can feel like it all gets on top of you. It can feel like, oh shit, I'm dealing with chronic severe guilt. How can I now deal with a problem in life? Well, it helps us build that robustness, helps us to build that mental strength, because and you look at it, if you look at, for example, like Viktor Frankl, like what he went through in the concentration camp, right? Now, you could easily say, oh my God, how could that guy deal with anything else? That's the worst thing ever. But to take that purpose to take the purpose, take the suffering, take the struggle, and get purpose and meaning from that, and completely adapt and change your life from that, it is incredible. It's so inspirational. And we can do that with OCD as well. So rather than seeing OCD as a total negative, seeing it as a complete disaster of our life, or why have I had to have OCD, try and view it as a positive. And what can I learn from this? What can I get out of this? Okay, that's a huge, huge shift. Now, saying you need to be recovered within 6 months is trying to rush it. It's like putting your foot to the floor of your car and go, right, I'm going for it. No, because it doesn't work like that. It's a journey. It's a ever-changing process, because beliefs are changing, behaviors are changing. Okay, you're constantly learning. Like, even when you slip up, even when you have a setback, even when you have a relapse, you're constantly learning, aren't you? Not just OCD, you're learning anything in life. Any mistake that you make, any time that you mess up or things don't go how you want them to do, you're looking, okay, how can I fix that? How can I overcome that? How can I adapt? Meaning that I make sure I don't do that again. But even if you do, you have compassion for yourself, but also being strict in regards to, you don't want to make mistakes. Of course, you don't want to make mistakes, but having compassion, even if you do, and getting back on your bike and carrying on again. Same as when you do compulsion, same as when you slip up, or same as you chuck the tools out the window because you're doing better, and you wait for a crisis to then come back, which is never advised, because I always recommend keeping up with the work, not disputing every day of the week. No, you don't have to go that extreme. But I'm saying, just because you're feeling better, don't just pretend you haven't got OCD, because that's a futile pursuit, and that's a mistake I made many, many times. So I want to leave it on that. I know I've gone on one hell of a tangent, but I like doing that because I talk about my life and other things going on. Talk about my beef stew and dumplings, which are absolutely amazing, by the way. I like to talk about random stuff like that. I'm sure you enjoy it as well. But yeah, they're really, really good. But anyway, just going to leave you. There's no set time frame. Okay, there's no deadline on OCD. It could be 10 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 2 years. It does not matter. Day by day, step by step, call by call, focus on changing behaviors, focus on changing beliefs, stopping the compulsions, doing the exposures, focus on life structure, okay? Focus on the things that's going to get you better, rather than just solely focusing and fixating on the end destination, because you'll chase recovery, you'll chase that perfect feeling, and the more you chase, the further away that gets.